Okay, this is a very important problem. Find the equation of the line given a point and the slope. Lots of times we were doing this. So we're given a point. The line goes through 3 and -5, and the slope m is equal to -7/8. So we have a point and the slope, so we're obviously going to use the point-slope form of the equation of the line, which is derived from the formula for the slope. And that's, remember, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You want to write this down every time you use it so you'll remember it, because it's very important. But again, it's derived off the slope formula. Okay, so we write down our formula first. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then I write the structure of the formula, just y minus y1 equals m x minus x1, and then I substitute my data in. Now we have to be careful because we have negative signs in our formula as well as we might have negative signs in the data, so we might have double negatives, so you have to be really careful the way you do this. So when I substitute, I want to label my points. Always label your points. So this is going to be x1, y1, so you know what goes where. So all I have to do is substitute what I have up here. So y1 is -5. So see, this is a case where we've got a negative in our data as well as a negative in our formula. x1 is 3. It's +3, so I don't have any issues there. And my slope is -7/8. And then again, we just have to simplify this a little bit. A negative times a negative is a positive, so we got y plus 5 equals -7/8 times x minus 3. And that's the equation of the line. Now, if you're asked just to give the equation of the line, that's fine. That's an equation of the line. It shows how all the points on the line, all the coordinates of all the points on the line, the x and the y, how those x and y coordinates are related for any point on this line. Now, sometimes we want to write them in different forms. Sometimes we want to write them in the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Sometimes we want to write it in the standard form, ax plus by equals c. So let's put it in the slope-intercept form. One reason why this form is a little bit more popular is because if you have a graphing calculator, this is how you would graph it, the y equals form. So let's solve this for y. But we could also solve it, put it in standard form also. And I think we could do that also. So we could put it in either form so you get more practice. So first of all, we would start over here. Y plus 5 equals -7/8 times x minus 3. And I'm going to get it in this form. So all I have to do is subtract 5 from both sides. I have y equals, because 5 minus 5 is 0, -7/8 times x minus 3 minus 5. Oops, sorry about that. Gotta make sure I watch my monitor. Okay, so again, I just subtracted 5 from both sides. So I got y, 5 minus 5 is 0, equals -7/8 times x minus 3 minus 5. Okay? And we have numbers here, so we'll try to remove the parentheses so we can combine these. And remember that 3 is like 3/1. So when we multiply out, we've got y equals -7/8 times x is -7/8 x. A negative times a negative is a positive. And then numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. 7 times 3 is 21. And 8 times 1 is 8. So that's the same thing as positive 21/8. You multiply that. And minus 5. Now 5 is also the same thing as a fraction, as 5/1. And we want to combine these two fractions, so in order to do that we have to have a common denominator, and the least common denominator is 8, so we just have to have an 8 over here. So I can multiply the top and the bottom here by 8. Remember, 8 is a unit fraction. And we have y equals negative 7 over 8x plus 21 over 8, and a negative times positive is a negative 40 over 8. And you can see 40 over 8 is the same thing as 5. See, so we've just changed the form. 40 divided by 8 is 5. But now I can combine these. That stays the same. Now over here we could write this, if we want, as plus 21 minus 40 all over 8. So we just add or subtract the numerators and put them over the common denominator. And positive 21 minus 40 is negative 19. So you really have to kind of know how to work with your fractions. Okay? And that would be our equation in slope-intercept form. So it goes to the point 0, negative 19 over 8. That point is on the graph. So it would be 0, negative 19 over 8 is a point on the graph. There's your 0b. That's your b, and there's your slope. Now if we wanted to put this in the other form, into the standard form, we could do that also. And I kind of started that already because so I'll show you that since I've got most of it done anyway. And this now is in the standard form, so I should point over here. I'm going to get this in standard form. So again, we started with the y plus 5 equals negative 7 eighths x minus 3. And in this case, I'm going to multiply both sides by 8 to remove the fraction. So I've got 8y plus 40. 8 over 8 cancels, so minus 7 times x minus 3. Then I'll remove the parentheses over here. Minus 7x, negative times the negative is positive, plus 21. Then I try to get all my x's on the same side, so I can add 7x to both sides. And on the left, I've got 7x plus 8y plus 40 equals 21. Then I'll just subtract 40 from both sides. And now I have 7x plus 8y equals, and that's going to be negative 19. So now that's another, so we took the same, now we put the line in standard form. Your A equals 7, your B equals 8, and your C equals negative 19. So you see you can put it in any form. So that's a pretty good review of those other two transformation techniques. Hope that helps.